So it's time to speak on these so-called town halls. So we finally have gotten people politically active, and I'm not going to get into their motivations. It just seems kind of odd to me that no one seemed to give a shit until the Great Orange Man became president. So we have all these Republicans, Democrats going out there, and it doesn't make much sense to me that there are people still doing the ceasefire now bullshit against Trump, but they're protesting Democrats. That doesn't make any sense because the Democrats are not in charge of foreign policy. Donald Trump is. Why don't you go protest Republicans? But I don't think the electorate at this point really knows what they want because they want the government to live within its means and not spend everyone's money on useless programs. And then when they cut their programs, they're like, oh my God, I didn't mean for the leopard to eat my face. That's number one. Number two, the thing that really annoys me during all of these town halls is whenever they ask a question, the people don't let the guy answer the question. If they don't like their answer, they just start booing. This is like mob rule. It's okay for you to be upset, but every single time when they get asked a question and they give you an answer you don't like, if you shout them down, then you're proving that you have no interest in what your representatives say. And what's more likely to get them to listen to you? Shouting them down and just looking at the world in black and white. If I don't give you the answer you like, then I'm going to shout you down. Or how I like to persuade people, because I think it's the most effective, is you give someone the facts, but you have to have a certain sensitivity to their state of mind. And if you use the facts plus the sensitivity, that changes people's positions. Versus if I'm going to shout you down, then you probably aren't going to really be interested in what I say. Quick side note, props to the congressmen and senators who've had town halls, because a lot of them are just cowards and just cancel them. Particularly, I'm looking at Chuck Schumer, for all the people who are pissed off that federal workers have lost their jobs. I've heard two distinct stories. It's both sides of the political persuasion. For instance, Senator Mark Kelly has a friend who worked for the VA, apparently. And he worked for the VA for years, got good performance reviews. He was fired by Doge. And then Mark Kelly goes out there and says, now, my friend is on a minimum wage job. You worked for the federal government for 20 years, and you lost your job, and you have no skill sets in order to take into the private industry in order to make money? Because I'm not one of these flaming liberals who thinks, oh, raise the minimum wage and everything will be great. I believe in the individual. I believe if you have a skill set that pays $15 an hour, then that's your skill set. And simply having daddy government come in there and say, hey, you guys need to pay $17 an hour. How about you as an individual increase your skill set? How much you make your market value $30 an hour? Go back to school, work your way up, whatever it is. And then we have the other side of the political spectrum. A Trump supporter who was a federal worker who lost her job. She's like, I was a huge Trump supporter until I lost my job. And to me, I was like, wow, I didn't expect the leopards to eat my face. I just wanted to stop the trans athletes from competing in women's sports. Now, I agree with that sentiment, but it affects like 10 people. And at the end of the day, with both these stories, it tells you something. People don't think. People just want to either own the libs and say that Donald Trump is particularly evil. Where I would argue this is just the natural evolution of things. If you keep instilling more power into the executive branch, don't be surprised if they use it.